Welcome back to the Monday morning, week 5 edition of the Ravens Roundtable. And I'm going to bring all my guests in and kind of, let them introduce themselves, or me introduce them. And we talk a little bit so you can see where to find their work, because I know that's been a topic of discussion while we're doing the panel. Everybody's asking, where can you find them and do all that stuff? And I take the blame for that, for not saying that or letting them say that when they first come in, only doing it on the back end. So blame me for that, but we're going to change it today. First off, we're going to bring in Hendo. What's up? Good evening, good afternoon. Happy Victory Monday. How you doing?
Indeed, I'm doing well. We took the game. We wanted it to end. Thank you for having me and being a part of this. I really do appreciate that, Coach.
Hey, no problem. Like I said, I've messed up by not allowing you to say where your information and your stuff is when we first come on. So please go ahead and do that now.
You can find me every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. Ravens Online Ungatekeepers, unless we have a game like we had last night, and then I'll go on probably right after the game. Also, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at RGatekeepers.
There it is. Next, we're going to bring in normally the late guy, but he was on time today. Chris just joking. What up, Chris?
What's going on, fellas? I'm glad to be back on, man. Excited to talk about the game, and hopefully you guys are having a good one tonight.
Again, let the people know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Just Joking, and you can find a podcast at the Deep Cover Pod that's hosted by myself, Kerry Stevenson, and Michael Crawford.
Cool. And last but not least for now, because we got a little reverse role, but we're gonna bring in our lunch break hot take crew, Jose and Bryden.
What is going on, fellas? Happy Victory Monday.
hey, let them know where they can find you. Pretty much everybody knows, but we got to do this universal.
Yeah. No doubt. Well, of course, first you can find us here every Monday doing the Ravens Roundtable for sure. But we are the lunch break hot take. Just go ahead and look for that. We do a live show every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show. And if you see my shirt right here, Ring Kings Podcast is our other channel. That's a boxing channel that we do with OTR Mike, who will join us later, hopefully. All right. You can follow us there, same places at Ring Kings Pod.
B, you got something, or you just gonna leave it there?
No. That's it.
Hey, look, Jose got it all. He got your lunch break hot take. He let you know that Mike may be coming later, so he just wrapped it on up so we could dive right into football.
Thank you for having me, though. Appreciate it.
I'm glad you guys come in, man. It's our weekly roundtable. If you don't know, if it's your first time here, we're just gonna go through each position, kind of talk about it. Sometime the comments will make their way into the discussion. If they do, that's fine, and we'll just kind of give our 2 cents on what happens, and at the end we'll talk about coaching, and we'll just wrap it up from there. Let's start with, again, like we always do, with QB play. Start with QB play. B, I start with you. What'd you think about Lamar's play yesterday?
Not his best game, not his worst game. I think he had the 3 really bad plays. Mm-hmm. The missed. The overthrown touchdowns and the interception that he was high on. The pass to Duvernay, I think, is a much more difficult pass than a lot of people were kind of saying. The pass to Tylan Wallace, no excuse. He should have hit that 100 times out of 100. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, I thought he played pretty well. Especially considering no Rashad Bateman, and so it's kind of difficult to get guys open, essentially. There are not a lot of guys in Baltimore who are winning kind of one-on-one matchups and making themselves available and kind of bailing out Lamar, right? So I mean, outside of those 3 plays, I thought he played pretty well. So overall, I would say maybe like a B-.
Gotcha. Jose?
Yeah, I was a little harsher, man. Like I gave him like a C+. Yes, he played pretty well outside those 3 plays, but those are big plays, man. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for him, he set the bar high. So yes, the one play, you're absolutely right, B. That's a tough throw to make, and again, like we don't have no superstars out there. Like then, there's no Tyreek Hill throwing, getting under that pass. So that's gonna be a little bit harder to hit. But interception was a bad interception. The one to Tylan Wallace is just, I mean, it's a different game with that. You know what I'm saying? There's some things that at this point, fortunately, unfortunately, right, that we just have a high expectation for him, and I want him to get that second MVP. So I need him to do a little bit better than that. But no, overall wasn't. I mean, no, not nowhere near his worst game, and he came through clutch in the end. So I mean, that's what really matters.
Sure did, big time. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, what everybody else said, it was disappointing in some aspects, but then the good thing to see was in crunch time when they needed him, all of that was forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think Kobe said it, where he was like, if I'm having a bad night, I'm not going to stop shooting. I'm going to keep shooting. And
Right.
he's not going to get down on himself. He's not going to be gun shy. And we saw that with Lamar in the fourth quarter. It's like something clicked. And once he stepped on the field for that last drive, he had like this other kind of confidence in him where he knew he was going to go down the field. And, it was good to see him not have his best game, but be able to kind of just forget all of that and just, go out there and get that W.
Yeah, that was big time. That was big time. Hendo?
I'm going to give Lamar a C, I guess. While he did miss those throws, and every quarterback misses throws, it changed the complexity of the game. When he threw that interception, the momentum swung, because I think if he hadn't thrown that interception, we'd have blew him out.
Blew him out, yep.
But that's when the momentum swung. They got back in the game. But in some aspects and some points of the game, Lamar had some pinpoint throws. Like he made some throws on a dime, and you like, that's what I want to see. I think it's disappointing for us, especially like me and Jose, because we want to see him get that bag. We want to see him prove everybody wrong, saying he's not this quarterback. But I do think it speaks volumes that he didn't have one of his better games, and we still won against a division opponent.
Yeah. From my point of view, I have the same. I guess it's the same gripe with him as I always have, but it's more of on a philosophy thing. Because like on the play that he missed to Wallace, we had the first guy standing at the first down mark. I don't know if he is naturally a high to low reader or Roman is teaching him to be high to low, but my philosophy is a little different. I feel like if you take what they give you and once they come up and press you, you get those easier deep throws. But they don't see that. Out of their fakes and out of their play actions, they always looking for the home run first. And that's just a philosophy thing. That could be their philosophy, and I just choose different. But they on a much higher level than me. But I just know on a couple of them throws that he missed on fourth down or even third downs, there were guys at the sticks that could have gotten first downs, but he chose to go for the deep ball. So
I was told by some people that was at the game that Tylan Wallace slowed down. Like when he threw it, he slowed down, and that's why the ball was so off, because he stopped. He kind of started to stop, and then it was like, oh snap, and then tried to catch up to it. So who knows?
Could be. And I got the all 22, but I've only watched one dude so far, and we'll talk about that later. That's the only person I locked in on him, and so I hadn't really looked at it like I think I need to. And it's not the dude y'all think about. It's not the dude y'all think about. So let's go to running back. It's not Queen. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's not Queen. Running backs. Let's go to running back play. I'll start with you, Hendo.
Running back play. Listen, JK, he's still being nurtured back into the rotation. He's doing well. I just think that once he gets into a rhythm and he gets that full-time production, that he's going to show what he can do. Even Kenyon Drake surprised me. He ran hard, even though it may not show up in the stat sheets. He ran hard and did his thing. Overall, I mean, I think they did okay. I thought we could have did better against the Cincinnati defense, but hey, they did what they needed to do to win.
Right. B?
Yeah, I'm impressed every week with JK. I think he's coming along well. He's showing those things that make you believe that once he's back to relatively 100%, once he's just back, that he's going to be a difference maker for the offense. But I agree with them taking it slow, because I mean, you all saw the injuries they had last year, some of the injuries they're having this year. You don't want to take unnecessary risks. So I think he's doing a great job. Kenyon Drake, I mean, he was there also. I don't want to say that he did anything particularly poorly himself, but I mean, it just wasn't really a great night for him. So yeah, they were all right.
All right, Jose.
I thought they did pretty good. Just I wish I would have seen a little bit more. Right. JK was tearing it up in that first half, but like the guy on pitch count, like, and to B's point, you don't want to overuse him. So it sucks, but I thought from what we saw, it was fine. I thought Kenyon Drake did okay. I think he had a couple of nice runs too. We know he's not the same player that Dobbins is, but overall, I thought they did an okay job. They didn't. They obviously didn't run as much as I would like to see them run, and that's attributed to just they don't want to use JK as much, and they don't trust the other running backs nearly as much, so they're leaving it to Lamar to be the run game again. That part I don't like, but overall, from the runs I saw, I thought they did a pretty good job.
Chris?
Yeah, I thought they did well too. It's like B said, every week we seeing like a new level unlocked with JK. And we kind of see a little bit more burst, a little bit more wiggle, a little bit more balance. And, this week was no different. He looked very, very good running the ball. I did kind of get a little bit frustrated in crunch time when, it's the fourth quarter and it's the last drive and Kenyon Drake is in there and not JK. I understand you want to protect him, but I mean, damn, it's the fourth quarter. You protect them in the second quarter.
Right.
When the game is on the line, I would rather it in his hands than Kenyon Drake. But
he did fumble. That
is true. He did fumble, but even though saying that, I did think Kenyon Drake did well with his limited opportunities. He didn't have any negative plays, so he did well with I think he had like 4 carries or something.
Four for 26.
Yeah, so he did well in the limited opportunities he had. I just wish they had JK in there down the stretch.
And as far as me with the running backs, I kind of agree with the sentiment that you all said. JK got his pitch count out early, and it really was like I was like you, like, why is Kenyon Drake in? And I kind of forgot the fact that JK ain't back, so to speak. Yeah. And but Drake didn't disappoint. He held on to the ball, got some tough yards. And there were some runs in there that that JK had that he didn't have any blocking at all.
Yeah.
And made something out of some big runs, some big, maybe third down runs, something like that, where they were just pinching the line. And I don't know who was missing the block, but he was getting hit in the backfield.
I know exactly what you're talking about. There was a series where they weren't blocking the guy on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
On the left side. Well, our right side.
He's just crashing down.
He kept on. It was like 3 plays in a row. Like he wasn't getting blocked, and I was like, "You're not even chipping him." But the one time he got in there, wrapped up JK, he just shrugged him off, and he got some yards out of that.
Right.
So.
He got tackled for maybe like a 1 yard loss or like a no gain the play before. Then it happened, like you said, the very next play, and he shook it off and got like 6 yards. Yeah. So that could have been scary, being that he's whatever his health number is, like whatever percentage. But that play right there let me know that he probably is ready for the whole thing right there.
Yeah.
Because that was not seeing the guy coming, being that was because it was a pretty good collision. He shook it off and then got the best of the collision. So to me, he probably is kind of where he needs or wants to be. Yeah. All right. Anybody else want to go with the running backs?
We had a Mike Davis sighting. Yeah.
You know what? Mike Davis had a great block on I think a jet sweep for Duvernay. So do you want to talk about Duvernay running back? Because he had a couple plays back there. Or you just want to leave him for a receiver?
Hey, he looked good too. Hey, look, Duvernay
we
was
just transition to it. We can transition to it. Let's start with Duvernay as far as the receivers. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, man. Duvernay, they finally used him. Like they finally used him in a way that Texas would use him back when he was in school. And it was encouraging to see. You saw him getting outside and hitting that speed and getting him into space. That's what you want to do with a guy who's an all-pro as a returner. Get him in space, let him do what he does, get some blockers in front of him. And I don't think it should take Rashad Bateman getting hurt for you to finally unlock that. And I think we saw a bit of what he can do in that aspect of the run game.
B.
Yeah, the Duvernay. I mean, again, like I said with JK, he's impressing every week and more every week, right? Like he's not getting a ton of touches, but he's maximizing the touches that he does get. The only thing that bothered me about Duvernay, and I said it in our Discord, like at the beginning of the game, I was like, yeah, wait until they get out of these scripted plays, and then they just kind of go away from using Duvernay like that for the rest of the game. But yeah, man, I mean, he's out there, he's going for the jugular on every touch. So they really do need to make it a focus to get him involved every week.
Yeah, and this game was the first time I've ever seen them make it, like you said, a focus to get him touches.
Yeah,
and in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah,
Jose.
Yeah, I was gonna add what B said, man. Like, scheme up more plays for the man. Like, he has shown that from the time he was drafted that he wants the ball in his hands and he wants to make something happen with it. And like B said, he maximizes the opportunities. And we see on the other side of the ball with the Cincinnati, they're trying to get the ball into Jamar Chase's hands. He didn't do a whole lot with it last night, thank goodness. But why aren't we doing that with Duvernay? Like, where are the screen passes for him? Right? Like, we're doing everything else. Get the man the ball. Like, every time he touching the ball, it's positive yards, it seems like. So keep feeding the man. And hey, what's up, Mikey? But also it helps to get Mark Andrews open, right? Because when you keep feeding this man the ball and there's no answers for it, now you have to adjust to try to slow down this guy. And Mark Andrews, I mean, at this point, if he's double teamed, that's a win, right? So yeah, man, like, keep using them.
Hendo.
I mean, what else is there to say? I want to give credit to Greg Roman. Now, I know it was done out of necessity, because it's no way you can line them dudes up and think that they're gonna make plays. So, but you got to give him credit. He knew that they were deficient in the area, and he schemed up the plays. And I've been a little bit skeptical on Duvernay, but listen, he's a baller, he's a gamer, and he's doing whatever he needs to do out on that field to help us win. So, I think even once we get a full arsenal of people back, they need to start scheming up plays directly for him to get him more involved. Because early in games, he's missing. Then they'll finally say fourth quarter, oh yeah, we got him. And sometimes it's a little too late. But Duve doing his thing.
All right. Chris? Did I hit you already? You muted.
You can't mute.
Yeah, I went first.
Okay, who I mean other than Mike?
Just Mike.
Go ahead, Mike. We talking about wide receivers and tight. I mean, we really just talked about Duvernay because it really ain't no other wide receiver to talk about. We can talk about the wide receiver crew as a whole.
Look, man, I kind of said it last week. Duve my number one. He listen. I mean, all things considered, man, he balling. Yep. I don't want to get over the hill with the situation, but I think, man, he's showing up, and especially when they desperately need him. I'm impressed by his play. Clutch plays. He's doing a little bit of everything, man. So shout out to Duvernay. And then I mean Mark Andrews. I think Mark Andrews this week, in the second half, like, he showed, like, you know what? If I'm gonna be this elite guy, I got to make some plays, no matter what they doing, no matter if they doubling me or whatever. So I think in the second half he kind of showed that too, and made some key grabs there towards the end or down the stretch.
Yeah, as far as Andrews, he just consistent, man, and that's what you get out of a superstar, consistency. All the superstars in the league are consistent, and that's what Mark's starting to do. And we're starting to see that. Last year, technically, wasn't a fluke. He didn't have a ton of yards. He was like 88 for 89 or something like that. But he's just consistent. He's consistently catching 5 to 12 balls a game. I can't recall drops yesterday. Did he? Because he had been dropping balls early in the game, but I can't recall Mark dropping any balls.
He almost dropped one, but I don't think he had.
Yeah, I don't think he had one. No.
So he's just a model of consistency. We had a bunch of guys with one catch. My boy finally showed up in a game. Pro
Which one? Oh, that one.
He had a drop too. I just want to point that out.
Robinson,
Did
bad
he?
throw. I thought it was a bad throw.
I thought it was a bad throw.
Did it hit his hands?
It hit his shoestring too.
It hit his fingertips as he was bending
It
forward.
hit his fingertips because he didn't want to go down and get it.
I was told, hey, just throw the ball his area, his direction, and he's gonna catch it.
I mean,
Most
that is
reliable hands. He had two hands on it.
But listen, we may never see this again in life. Prochet and Wallace had a catch in the same game.
Right.
This may never happen
Right.
again.
Right. And likely had two.
Listen, don't get me started on that dude.
Likely had
One
two.
was a good. That was a good one. He almost scored on that one.
This definitely was a first down that we didn't give us.
If
Yeah.
he had,
Definitely was a first down.
if Likely had 4.6 speed, he'd have scored.
Yeah.
Instead of that
4.7 just ain't gonna get it.
That 4.8 ain't hitting.
Mike, since you kind of fell in on the back end, what you want to say about Lamar and the running back play? 'Cause that's what we covered while you were out.
Man, Lamar, I mean, it wasn't pretty, right? But you know, he took over the game when we needed him to. That's what superstars do. That's what the best player on the field does. So I saw something earlier, man, and I don't always agree with Colin Cowherd. Not much.
Right.
But he did say, you know, why can't Lamar win? Why can't he win ugly? Why when he wins an ugly game, it's he didn't play that well. You know what I mean? So, and I agree. You know, it was ugly, but he made plays when he had to make plays, and that's just what it was. We all know he missed 2 touchdowns on the same drive, right? And he got to make that play, and I know he knows that. We all know that he knows that. But other than that, 8 down the stretch, made plays and put it in the goats or put it on the goat's leg. So, yeah, I'm okay with 8. You know, obviously we want to see him playing better, but he did what he had to do. Running backs, the running backs played okay. You know, I mean, I think we had 2 or 3 guys that was averaging over 5 a pop. You know, so if you can get that in a game, and that's outside of Lamar. If you get that, that's a good day. You know what I mean? So JK looks solid. I mean, it looks like they still got him on the pitch count. Even Drake. I think Drake was our leading rusher this week.
Behind Lamar.
Lamar.
I think it was Lamar, then JK. We had 155 total, and I think Drake only had 26, but I think all of his came on that last drive.
Lamar had 58, JK had 44, Kenyon Drake 26, Duvernay 24.
And if I'm not mistaken, all of Drake's came in that last drive when we need them. I think.
Yeah, I mean, so and that's after being healthy scratch. So
right.
I think the running back group played well as a whole as well.
All right. Go to O-line play. We'll start with the elephant in the room. Ronnie's back. I'll let you start with that, Mike.
Look, man, Ronnie looked solid to me, all things considered. I was not feeling the rotation. I was not feeling that at all. It's looking like they want to consider, you know, continuing that. And look, he to me, I mean, look, if he's going to play, like, this is what we pay him the big bucks for. I know he's coming off an injury, but he had his time. Like you got to let him, you know, get out there and see what he can do. So I don't know if the pitch count on the O-line is something that, you know, I feel like with O-linemen, you either play him or you don't. You know what I mean? So wasn't feeling that. I think as a group they played okay. Hendricks, you know, he was disruptive on the, you know, out there. But I mean, even Morgan Moses, man, like if y'all notice when he was pulling, like he was opening up, you know, and putting some dudes on their butt. So overall, they played well. You know, 8. I don't know how many sacks. Was it 1? Was it 2 for the game?
It was 1.
The only one?
Yeah,
I'm cool with that because Trey Hendricks is supposed to be LT reincarnated.
Right.
So I'm cool with that.
So I'll take that. I mean, you know, I'll take that one. They kept them clean, but they got to get rid of that rotation, man.
Hendo?
Yeah, like Mike said, that rotation is garbage because when McCurry first came in, he was not doing well. And I guess it's, you know, coming cold off the bench might have had something to do with it. But listen, you pay Ronnie all that money, you need to let him play. But for me, overall, they did a decent job. You know, they slowed down Hubbard, Hendrickson. They did what they needed to do, but they still need to pick it up.
Chris?
Yeah, like everybody said, man, that rotation is just dumb as hell. Like they gave me a damn heart attack when I saw Ronnie go out after the first series. I was like, wait, hold on, don't tell me he got hurt again.
I thought he was hurt too.
Right,
Yeah.
me too. I did too.
Like, yo, announce that before the game so we don't collectively, have heart attacks. Because but it's also dumb. I mean, like Hendo said, Makari's coming off of an injury too, so he's coming in cold after these pass rushers. They got their juices going, and he's coming in cold after what's he been away for 2-3 weeks now?
Who?
Makari.
About that, yeah.
So it's like he's coming in, and you kind of doing him a disservice as well. So let's cut all of that out. Let's just go Ronnie. I understand you want to bring him along slowly, whatever the case is, whether it's him, the trainers, whatever. Let's just get that dude there, let him get those snaps. And when he was in there, I mean, the run plays just look better, pass plays look better, everything just looked like it was way more in sync. And I think you kind of see that stability take over on the O-line when he's in there. And it just looks way more solid. And I mean, even a lot of people hate him. Ben Powers is looking all right. He's looking all right. He's not getting his ass handed to him like he used to. So even he's raised his level of play a little bit. So I've been happy with the offensive line, and compare this to last year where Hendrickson and the other white dude, I forgot his name, Hubbard. Man, they were giving the Ravens tackles nightmares last year. So, they did a bang up job, in my opinion.
I saw that comment, Coach.
Boy, y'all wow. T.O., you wild for that. You wild for that. But you know what? For what Villanueva did last year, I agree with you.
Yeah.
For what Villanueva did, I agree with you, because Villanueva was trash truck juice.
Terrible.
Okay, I lost my Mikey. You up? Did you go yet?
Nah, yeah, I went.
Jose, you been?
No, I was gonna say, look, I think Sam Hubbard was the guy that kept on getting in on those like 3 consecutive plays.
Yeah, it was Hubbard. I said Hendricks, but yeah, it was Hubbard.
Now, I don't necessarily want to blame the O-line because it looked like whatever play they're drawing up, they weren't supposed to hit him. I don't know. Like, you know what plays I'm talking about? It was like 2 or 3 in a row.
I remember. I'm thinking he was a read man, and he just said F it and went to the mesh point.
Yeah, because it was like 2 or 3 plays in a row. I was like, I mean, it wasn't just the right side. Like the running back, they didn't chip block him either. It's just like you're just gonna let him go just straight at Lamar, straight to the ball. But yeah, overall, yeah, not much to complain about. Ronnie looked healthy. I'm happy about that. I'm fine with the pitch count. I'm fine with pitch count with all these guys, man. I need them healthy at the end of the year. That's when we need them.
I'm fine with the pitch count, knowing that there is a pitch count now. I'm like Chris said, when he first went out, I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But now that I know it's a pitch count, I'm cool with it. Hendo, you been on O-line yet?
Yes, sir. But what made it worse with Stanley was him looking pissed on the bench.
Yeah,
he had that I'm injured look, like not again. And I'm looking like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But he was just mad that they took him out the game.
Gotcha. B, you spoke your piece on O-line?
No, I thought they played pretty well. I was pleasantly surprised by the O-line. I'm going to disagree a bit on the rotation. It's not ideal, right? I mean, Makari's not Ronnie Stanley, and Ronnie Stanley was looking good, but the money doesn't matter. It's if he's ready to go and play a full game, and you want to get him out there and see where he's at. Just throwing him out there and saying, "Hey, you're the left tackle," is why he didn't play last year, right? They put him out too early. He got hurt in the first game, and now he's just coming back. So I get the cautious approach. Probably stop with that now. I don't want to see Makari anymore. But outside of that, I thought they played much better than they have in recent weeks. Lamar had time for the most part. We saw the run game get going.
Yes.
So it was a really good performance, and against a good solid defense too.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we ain't just saying he messed up, he gave these sacks up, what was he doing is to me a plus. That's a plus. Like we headed in the right direction because we know we solid at right guard. Moses is doing what he needs to do at right tackle. Maybe in another 3 or 4 weeks we won't have a rotation at left tackle and we'll be solid there. And like Chris said, Powers is holding it down, but I think it's because they just letting them play. They letting them get continuity with Linderbaum and with they really ain't getting no continuity on his left because they keep switching people in and out. But him and Linderbaum being able to work together, and he looks better every week. And I haven't, like I said, went into detail on how he played this week, but he looks, when watching the game with the naked eye, he looks like he's more comfortable up there playing.
Yeah.
Like remember like maybe the Dolphins game, he pulled right into his own person. We not seeing stuff like that right now. So it's like he's doing what he needs to do and he understands what he needs to do and he's actually executing whatever the plays is. So I'm cool with O-line. Any offensive before we jump on the defensive side?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. We got one question. We'll do that. Say, what's good, fellas? Question: do y'all think more wide receivers will want to come to Baltimore now that passing is our focus? First off, who said passing was the focus? But I'll let you start with that, Hendo.
Oh man. Do I think they want more wide receivers? No, I don't think anything has changed. I think we're passing out of necessity, and we're just finding our groove running the ball. So first few weeks we had to throw because the offensive line just wasn't getting any push. I don't think that that's going to change the perception as long as Greg Roman is the offensive coordinator. I don't think it's going to change the perception as long as Jonathan Harbaugh is our head coach. But hey, you never know. One dude might be like, before I retire, I won't play with Lamar, and that might be it.
Chris?
Yeah, I mean, once they trade for DJ Moore, yes, we're gonna have a wide receiver.
but will he want to come here?
Hey, he's going. It's better than being in Carolina.
Like,
you know what?
Lamar or Baker?
I
don't know.
B, you got to go next now. You got to go next now, B.
I mean, last I checked, Carolina been in the Super Bowl more recently, right?
Well, not anytime soon. That's for damn sure.
I mean, listen.
Wait a minute,
Greg Roman running your offense, 2015.
Carolina, they went with Cam, right?
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, we can say the exact same thing about Baltimore with Greg Roman running it. Y'all ain't going nowhere come playoff time.
Hey, they go further than the Panthers, that's for sure.
I'll tell you one thing. Devin Duvernay, he ain't gonna get this praise when it's January. Right? when you're playing playoff defense.
That's why we need DJ Moore.
that little 50 yards ain't gonna cut it. You're gonna be like, man, why can't he do more?
Right.
But listen,
you all right though. You all right.
Yeah, DJ Moore's not going anywhere.
You hope
they're not going to trade him right after they sign him to an extension. But it doesn't matter if wide receivers want to come to Baltimore or not. Go and trade for somebody, make him come. They could have done that multiple times over the last few years. Before. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Look, as long as the money is right, players will play wherever they are. Yep. Deebo Samuel, I believe Jose was talking about last week. Deebo Samuel didn't want to be in San Francisco. They paid him his money. He is the happiest 49er you will ever see. Right? So just go get some.
Get paid? Because I know he wanted out of Chicago. Did he get paid?
Not yet.
No, they told that man, you're gonna sit right here and be miserable with the rest of us. And he was like, all right. Ain't nobody trading for linebackers like that. So all right. But no, I think there's been plenty of opportunity. They need to go out and just make it happen, and the receivers will be fine.
This for you, B. I think this is a super chat for you.
Thank you, man.
I know it ain't Wednesday, but Rodney have a celebrity shot on me. Matt Rule is gone. Appreciate you, Mitch. Who I missed on the receiver question? Mikey, you went yet?
Nah, I mean, I truly think wide receivers want to play with Lamar, right? I don't think, I think that's the narrative. Like, oh, they might not want to play with him because I don't think that's the question at all. I think if you listen to how they all talk about Lamar, they all say he's a baller and he can do whatever. He can make all the throws. He's X, Y, and Z. So I agree with B though. Like, you gotta. I mean, why wait? Go and get somebody. Go and get a guy. Send some picks. Whatever you gotta do, man. Get somebody. Bring them in here and let them fit in. you know, and that's how it should have been done. They could have, like B said, they could have done it multiple times with multiple players. They haven't. I think it just all comes down to the money, right? If they're willing to spend the money, and it doesn't look like, I don't know if y'all caught what Chris Collinsworth said in the broadcast. He said the Ravens have spent the least amount of money on the wide receiver position than any other team.
Mm-hmm.
And I was glad that he said it, because, you know, we got a fan base who tend to believe that that's not the case, right? But that is obviously the case. And I pointed out last week that the common denominator in all those names they could have traded for was that they were up for contract extensions. And they didn't want to fork out that type of money. So we are where we are. But yeah, I think wide receivers would want to play here. I think they want to play with Lamar.
You know what's funny? Real quick, I was thinking earlier today. I was like, have the Ravens ever extended a wide receiver? They didn't extend Chris Moore.
The only one.
He got a 1-year deal, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they didn't extend. They didn't sign Torrey. Nope. Damn sure didn't sign Brashad Perriman.
No.
Why would they?
Yeah, so they've never done that. They traded away Hollywood before he could even get to the contract.
Yep.
Seems like it's a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
On you, Zay.
No, I mean, look, it's not about whether wide receivers want to play here or not. That's just a narrative that people put out there, right? But that's not the case. It all comes down to money, and like what you guys have alluded to, we don't like to pay wide receivers, right? That's the reason. It has nothing to do with Lamar. It has nothing to do with the play style. It has everything to do with you just don't value wide receivers here, and you're not going to get, high caliber wide receivers playing on a bargain deal. Like we keep trying to get, and it's not even just wide receivers. If we're being real about it, that's just a narrative we put out there. It's everybody, right? We don't want to get top end edge rushers either. That we don't want to pay them their value. We don't want to get top tier D tackles or even corners, right? Because we were supposed to get what's his name over with the Rams? Jalen Ramsey. We were supposed to get Ramsey, but we didn't want to give up the picks and we didn't want to pay the money. Peters was the cheaper option. All right. We don't want to pay top dollar for top tier players. So that's the real issue. So every time we're looking at wide receivers who can come here, yeah, they will gladly come, but they gotta be paid. Right. And we just not about that.
They some bargain shopping folks, bro.
The thing is, they don't want to pay people. But I think about this extravagant light show and production that they put on in the stadium.
Yeah,
you'll spend money there, which is fine. I'm cool with it, and it's probably even better to see in person.
It's dope.
But it's you want to invest in what's on the grass and not what's in the stands as much.
Yeah.
But here's what it is. Let's see what we got from Marco. Marco said, "What's good, fam? Front office preaches draft capital and finding great value. Yeah, EDC can't seem to hit on the most of his picks, including wide receivers. Yeah, that's fair. Let's go to the defensive side. Appreciate the 5, Marco G. Always contributing to the channel. Let's see what I would normally start with. D-line play. And I got a super chat about that. I'm going to try to find why we start with it. Hendo, start with D-line play.
Are we considering JPP a part of the D-line?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, because the super chat deals with JPP, so that's what I'm gonna try to find it. Yeah, so we can start with him.
Okay, well, if we're including JPP, I think it was above average. Because listen, for a man that's been here for 2 weeks and is still not in football shape, he was everywhere. He got a sack. He was batting down balls. Even Calais Campbell got in on the action, and I heard because they put him on the outside instead of having him on the inside, rushing, that kind of made a difference. I think they did a decent job. I'm not overwhelmed by them. I'm not impressed by the defensive line. I still think that we need to make some moves in the upcoming weeks because let's be real about this. From week 1 to now, we've been playing bad or injured offensive lines, and we're still not wrecking shop. We're still not imposing our will on these teams. So what's going to happen when we get to these healthy teams or when we get to the playoffs? This defensive line is just not cutting it. But as for the game yesterday, I think they did a solid job.
Yeah. I think the only one that's flashing to me consistently is Matabike. If it depends on what we consider JPP, but as far as all 5 games, right, I think the most consistent one is Matabike.
But the problem is, just like under Wink, he starts to get rolling, they take him out the game. I don't understand it. He starts wrecking shop, making plays. All right, bro, come sit on the bench for about a series or two.
My thing is, he young. Don't take him out till he tap out.
Yeah.
Once he tap out, then you roll somebody else in there because the drop off is huge from him to the next guy.
But they'll run Calais Campbell in the ground and then wonder why these old vets are getting injured because they're playing them too many snaps.
Yeah.
B.
Yeah, I thought they were all right. I think they're. I don't really think about JPP as part of the D line, but I thought he had a really nice night. You know, I thought he played really well. The D line, not so much. I mean, they were okay. Cincinnati was able to run. I think they just didn't do it as much as they probably should have in such a close game, a low scoring game. It was nice to see a Brent Urban sighting. He had a pass, knocked down a pass out. That was nice. But outside of that, you know, nobody really stood out to me on this D line in this game.
Mike.
Yeah, D said exactly what I was going to say. I think Cincinnati got away from the run. If they'd have stayed with it, we'd have been looking a little. I think it'd have been a little more of a different conversation. I didn't, you know, it could be me. I didn't really see Matabike yesterday. Is he hurt or
they just take him out?
They just took him out. Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of Travis Jones, my boy Travis Jones, out there looking lost, but you know, I think he'll get it together.
Who? the pressure savior, the sack guy.
Hey man, like, I don't like. I do not like them putting Campbell on the outside. I don't either. I do not like that. I think our issue is I think teams are running right up the gut on us and they're gashing us. So I'm not feeling that. I think he'll be better there. But I mean, everything be said, I wasn't really impressed by the group. I mean, if we include in JPP, then salute to that brother for not having an off season and coming in and he playing 90% of the plays. Like, you gotta salute that cat for that.
Right.
But other than that, nah. That's a group right there that scares me. We got Saquon coming up. You know, we got Fournette coming up after that, or soon after that. We got them boys in Cleveland coming up after that.
Yeah.
So
did you see what Nick Chubb did to Khalil Mack?
Yeah. So I'm concerned with this group of running backs we got coming up soon. So
Free Wi-Fi said something. He says, think Suggs would give us a few weeks of his time. No, but somebody on here, didn't they say Suggs is like lost a bunch of weight?
Suggs is like 205 pounds. He ain't coming back no time soon.
He's done.
He's in the broadcasting. He's doing the show circuit. He's not playing anymore.
He's probably doing like our left guard for a long time.
Yonder.
As soon as Yonder quit playing, he lost all that weight.
Yeah.
As soon as he quit playing. So we'll just go to outside linebackers and outside linebackers. We can put them all in there. You know, if you want to still talk about JPP, we can, but not really. Owe, Queen, Malik, Bynes. Really, that set of four guys right there, because that's really who played the position. Queen played okay from what I saw. I ain't. You know, he finally caught an interception. I don't know if he played good. I don't know if he played bad. So ain't no hill for me to stand on right now, like I did last time, because last time I had already watched it and kind of had an idea. So I don't really know like what he did, but I was happy he got the interception. I was excited about that. I did see more of an effort out of Owe. I kind of saw what some people were talking about, because there were a lot of times I felt like he could have been held. I mean, he was held and it could have been called. Yeah. But his effort, his motor, and he already got a high motor, but it looks like he just was doing more. It's just he wasn't getting the benefit of the calls this game. So I think he's his production on paper is not there yet, but it looks like it could be already, ready to fire up. And I think that's just a reflection on JPP too, because you're going to have to start, game planning and accounting for what he's doing on the other side, and that should allow Owe to eat, especially if we can get anything in the middle. Chris?
Yeah, man, I agree with the holding stuff. There were a few times where, the offensive lineman just had his arms around his waist like they were and doing ballroom dancing, and you kind of gotta do the vet thing and flail your hands up and make it obvious. You can't just be like, I'm being held. What's up? You got to be extra with it, and I think that just comes with time. It's learning those little tricks of the trade. But I thought he played well. He was doing a lot of the dirty work yesterday, knifing in, opening up things for other people. And then JPP, like Hendo and B said, man, he was balling, and it's much more than what I expected for a dude who didn't have a training camp, who was coming off of a major injury to his shoulder. He's been playing really, really well compared to what I expected. So hats off to him. Uncle Bynes had a sack yesterday, came through knifing in through the middle. Yeah, so shout out to him. PQ got that pick. I was surprised he caught it. So shout out to him for catching it. And I thought they played fairly well. It wasn't like a dominating game or anything like that, but they didn't do anything to lose the game, so to speak.
Jose?
Hey, shout out to Uncle Bynes with that hit. I haven't seen a hit like that from the Ravens. It seems like years. When's the last time we seen a hit like that?
Been a minute.
It's been a minute. So I was all hyped up about that.
But I do think the last one was Queen. He shot a gap on somebody and made a tackle in the backfield.
That was against Washington at the goal line, I believe.
They
tried to jump. He tried to jump the pile across the goal line, and Queen met him and brought them back. I think that was the last one. I know what you're talking about. But I'm gonna go ahead and give Patrick Queen some props, right? Because it's about making plays. We talked about that last week, right? Did he miss a couple of tackles yesterday? Yeah, he did, but they weren't. They didn't affect the game. But that interception came at the right time. Lamar just overthrew. He overthrew Wallace. It was a shift of momentum, and he got the ball right back. Those are the type of plays that we need him to make. So, look, he may not play the perfect game, but making plays when we need you to make plays, that's what it's about right there. That was the whole argument against me. Yeah, he did right on 90% of his plays, but he messed up on the three most important ones. Yes. So this could be the exact opposite. He might have messed up on 40-50% of his plays, but he made a big one to help, change the game, so to speak. Yeah. Owe, Chris's point, he got held. I saw at least 2 times he got held. One, I thought I saw him get held by like 2 people. They weren't even blocking him. They were just holding him. It's one of those things you got to try to get the ref's attention. But he's putting in that effort. All of the linebackers, I need to see them tackle better. Right, I need to see them tackle better. Like the run game got going. I think they weren't as focused on the run because I think they knew Cincinnati was going to want to air it out, and they just weren't going to allow that to happen. But these teams coming up,
we did play a lot of too high too.
Yes,
makes it a lot easier for them to run on.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a change in the next couple of weeks with the Giants. You got the Browns coming up. Those teams were not as worried about their passing game, so they're going to be more focused on the run. But it's going to be on the linebackers. They're going to have to wrap up, man. I see a lot of arm tackling out there from everybody. I do not like that. Right. So they got to clean that up.
Yeah, because Saquon's going to test their tackling.
Yes.
This week. Mike, you been yet?
Nah. Everything y'all saying, man. Uncle Bynes, man. Uncle Bynes he making plays at the right time, man. So you gotta give that to him. I thought Owe looked strong early. I think he kind of faded later on in the game, but I think he didn't play bad. We already talked about JPP. Queen, listen, like Jose said, it's about making plays. I think if you got to give him props on, dropping back and reading that play to get back there to pick it off. So, he on the whole play itself, man, you gotta give him. It even looked like, even though it almost looked like he still bobbled it or almost caught brick hands again.
He did.
But he held on, so we'll take it, But I think he played solid. I think he led the team in tackles and stuff like that. So, I mean, linebackers, Queen, again, we talked about it last week. It's about consistency with him. Now, one of the things, right, that we tend to leave out, and I think, Coach, you might have touched on this in your breakdown. One of the things that people tend to leave out with Queen and talking to him is the last 3 weeks. Yeah, we focused on him dropping the interceptions, but not so much focusing on him putting himself in those positions to be there.
Yep.
And that is something that, you obviously he's got to see these things. He's got
Because in the past, he wouldn't even been in position to make them.
Right. So he is making the right read and reaction. It's just that he's got to catch the ball and make the play, and he did it this week. We did get to see that. So, yeah, man. I mean, I'm still iffy on this group, but they were solid this week. We gotta clean up that tackling, like Jose said.
All right. Hendo, you went on LBHT?
Oh, listen, Uncle Bynes. I thought he was gonna set the tone early.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he had that sack, I'm like, okay, this was kind of day it's gonna be. It kind of tailed off in there, but listen, Josh Bynes, he plays his heart out, and that's why I like him. He physically may not be all the way there, but he actually gives his all. As Malik Harrison, I think he had a couple of nice stops in there.
He did.
I had high hopes for him coming into the season. I think he could play better, but I think that the more he's out on the field, the better he may become down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the OA situation, yeah, they may have been holding him, but it's no excuse. They hold a lot of defensive ends, outside linebackers. You need to either find a way to get the ref's attention, or you need to find a way to make plays. But one thing I will say about OA is they play him too much. Being that he's the only outside linebacker threat, aside from JPP now, they play him too much throughout the game. I know, what is it? Thibodeau likes to run his young guns into the ground, and that's what we're kind of doing with OA. They need to give him a break. Like, they need to give him some rest. And
but I would agree with you, but the little bit that I saw Copeland play yesterday, I don't think we can afford to have him out there.
but Coach, this is how our players keep getting injured.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. We got to try to hold on till.
But listen. Copeland was another scrapyard pickup that supposedly was come save the team.
Yeah, well, at least I can say that wasn't me. I ain't say that one. That one ain't on me.
Yeah.
At least say that one.
and last but not least, we have Patrick Queen. Listen, dude got ran over a couple times, and I'm just like, here we go.
But he made key plays, Hendo.
Can I finish? But regardless of all that went on, when I think Cincinnati was actually about to go take the lead, and he stepped up and he made that interception. Like he kind of took the momentum back from Cincinnati, and instead of being up 3, we were able to kick the field goal and go up 6. So, like we said last week, it's not about what you did wrong and what you did right. It's about when and what the stakes were at the time. And I think when we needed him the most, he actually stepped up and played big. So all props to him, because if he'd have dropped the 3rd interception, I think that would have messed with his psyche. I think that would have kind of messed him up, and he kind of got the yips.
Yeah.
But listen,
he get rid of them.
Like Mike said, Mike, when I say he bobbled it, he was
like
playing
he
with it.
Like
Hey,
this.
somebody send a tweet out. Breaking news: Hendo likes Patrick Queen.
look like he tried to catch it like this. I don't know how. But
listen, and I'm sorry. Listen, I have to apologize. I don't see it in the comments, but I have to apologize. OA, I take back everything I said about OA. I promised Yolanda I would give him one more week before I say anything about him. She told me give him to the Giants game before I pass judgment on this young man.
Think about this. Everybody we know who Derek Jeter is, right?
Yep.
And we know, Chris, you're a New Yorker. What's his nickname?
Captain.
The other nickname?
Mr. November.
October.
So
all that stuff he do from March to September is okay. But like Hendo said, or I think Jose might have said, it's when you do it. We know Derek Jeter for making plays in October when the Yankees were going on those runs. So I can kind of agree with the Queen. I'm kind of coming around to the fact that he has to be where he's supposed to be 90% of the time, but still make those crucial plays too. And the fact that the ultimate hater even went on Twitter and broke down the play and gave him props, that's a little something, even though I don't really care about Bernard Pollard. But the fact that he basically gave him his props. You know, he explained the play about him having a big gap responsibility first, how he took his run read, realized it wasn't a run read, and sunk into his area and just sunk right under the pass. But that's where the speed helped him. A lot of times the speed hurt him when it would tackling. But in that cases like that, the speed helps him. He just got to find balance on it.
Bernard Paulo is rarely in the right place, so he needed to be. That's why I say that.
And he did not have the speed to be there at all.
He could hit. I give him that. He could hit.
Yeah.
But
Stephen
did I miss
Ridley
anybody on LBs? Was that everybody?
Did you get it, bro?
Nah,
Go ahead, B.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to add there. I pretty much agree with what most of y'all are saying, particularly with Hendo on Owe. I don't care that he's being held. Every pass rusher gets held all the time. You have to deal with it. They're not gonna call it. You know?
Parsons is getting held a lot
and still
and leading the league in pressures. You know,
and sacks.
I'm not sure, but I know he's leading the league in pressures. They said he had 9 pressures just this week. Right?
With a hurt growing.
But yeah, I mean, Patrick Queen, this is what we always talk about on defense. It's not, you're not going to be able to shut down top offenses. And I saw the comment that you put up there. Cincinnati's not a top offense right now. They're averaging 21 points a game.
I just was clicking. I'm sorry. I was just clicking.
Yeah, but no, just responding to them. I mean, let's calm down on the juggernaut of Cincinnati right now. I think they'll get back there, but they're not that right now. But you have to be able to make timely plays, and that's what you take defenders in the first round for. And Patrick Queen, you know, Samaje P. Ryan aside, that's what he did, right? Because yeah, listen, it's funny watching Patrick Queen get run over by P. Ryan. I can watch that all day. But who's Samaje P. Ryan, right? He had 17 yards rushing. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And P. Ryan is never going to beat you. But Joe Burrow will.
Yeah.
You know? And so being able to get in that position and get that interception and kind of swing things back in Baltimore's favor is huge.
Yeah. I think them not being patient, their ego, and when I say there, I'm talking about the Bengals, their ego allowed us to win the game. Because they could have handed that ball off Joe Mixon all night.
Yep.
I think they've got a little bit of that Kansas City disease from last year, where they're just saying, hey, you know what, we're going to do what we want to do because we've got these guys and you can't stop us, and everybody's stopping you, but you're saying we're still going to do it because you know we're them, right? And once you kind of break out of that and say we're just going to take what the defense gives us, everything else will open up and they'll be back to embarrassing secondaries. But you know it's not happening.
But credit to Mcdonald for understanding that. Hey, this team, they're not going to commit to the run, right?
Yeah,
we're not going to let Jamar Chase go off. Eventually, they're going to try to get him going. Burrow going to try to get it going, and they're not going to commit to the run. And they called it.
Yeah,
and you know, shout out to Chris Sims. Before the game, he said that he felt like the how simple that the Bengals offense is will play into the Ravens' hands. And he was 100% correct. You know, you run a Philly special when you got a bull horse, a horse back there that you can hand it to.
Right.
You run a Philly special, and look what happened. So yeah, they're getting cute, man. And that hot seat over there getting there because it's a lot of talent for him over there not to be capitalizing on it.
They got twice the talent we got the skill positions, and we're in front of them.
Facts.
And actually, our offense looks better than them right now, and that's tough to say. Last but not least, the DBs. Well, we got coaching after that, but the DBs. Let's talk about the DBs. Jose, you go first.
Man, look, I think this is probably our strongest unit. Look, I don't have anything bad to say about the defense as a whole. We gave up 17 points, right? But man, Marcus Peters for not practicing all week, he was ready to go.
What?
He was ready to go, and he said, "Give me Jamar Chase." He said, "I hear all the talking y'all was doing when I was out. Now Daddy's home." All right. He said, "Daddy's home. 50 yards. What do the gritty now? What's up now?" Right. Him and Humphries. They both they held it down. Like, yes, they got a lot of the one thing you could say is they got a lot of holding and pass interference, but actually, what I was telling B is that's how you have to play in today's NFL, right? Like the game is catered to the offense. They want to see scoring, they want to see passing. They're gonna throw the flag, but if you commit to what you're doing and not worried about holding calls and pass interference calls, you keep doing what you're doing. They're not going to keep throwing flags. And Hayden Hurst found that out because Chuck Clark did hold him at that goal line, but he just got a call. We're like, and they're like, yeah, we're not giving you two flags in a row. That ain't gonna happen. Stick to what you do, frustrate them, and make it ugly for them, and that's what they did. So I mean, I give this unit an A.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Hendo?
I give this unit an A as well. I can say I'm one of those people that are thoroughly impressed with Marlon Humphries. I've said it before. 2018 signed a big contract after that season. Oh, after 2019 season, he signed that contract. He's been downhill, but he's been lights on ever since. Him and Peters. Listen, Peters is my guy because I think Marcus Peters is one of the few Ravens that I think still plays like a Raven, has that Raven attitude, has that chip on his shoulder. Hey, they took Jamar Chase and shut him down. Now, I will say they were helped with the fact that T. Higgins didn't play for like 3 quarters. So that helped him. But when it came to one-on-one matchups with Marlon and Jamar Chase, he redeemed himself for that 200-yard game that he gave up. He said, look, y'all not going to talk about me again. And I just think that everything being said, the defense played well. I'm frustrated that Marcus Williams got injured. It seems like every time we start to get going, we start to get on track, something else takes us out. But the one thing that I want to point out is, why did Geno Stone come in and take his place and not Kyle Hamilton, this generational talent?
I saw Kyle Hamilton in there.
He was in there, but
Geno played a lot more. Geno played a lot more.
But
and I asked myself that question, Hendo, and what I came up with is they want to keep Hamilton in whatever package they have for him. So it's easier to put Stone in Williams' place and let Hamilton kind of stay in whatever small packages they have for him. Like, because I'm sure those packages he probably got limited roles. So you sticking back there as the straight free safety that expands, and I think all six of us can say he probably ain't ready for that expanded.
So what you're telling me, Coach, is it's easier to put the 7th round pick in and have him play safety than it is the top 15 generational talent pick.
Because you got to protect your pick.
Different positions too.
But Micah Parsons is a linebacker, but he can play defensive end. He can play linebacker.
But Micah Parsons will tell you what he said during his draft process is he's a natural pass rusher, and at Penn State they made him play linebacker out of need, not because he wanted to, but he always said he's a natural pass rusher.
But
I bet Kyle would be very complimentary about his own skills as well.
Right.
So, I mean, we should ask him and see if he wants to
But regardless of what he did or how they put him, he plays well at multiple positions because he's a real generational talent. Right. Kyle Hamilton is not generational.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't agree with Hendo. This is all stemming back to the fact that Kyle Hamilton embarrassed FSU. He cannot get over.
So what you say? So we still going to that one play? We're still going to that one play.
So Hendo, you a Florida State fan?
I love Florida State. Charlie Ward. I go listen.
As a fact, I'll tell you this quick little story. I met his dad at the high school that he went to. Didn't even know I was coaching baseball, and I'm Omega. So I'm bagging out of the parking lot, and this guy in a golf cart pulls up, and so we start talking Omega stuff. And he was like, so we go to exchange names, and he tell me he's Charlie Ward Sr. I'm like, oh, you Charlie Ward, daddy? He was like, yeah. I was like, man, so Charlie Ward went to this school? He was like, yeah, you didn't know that? I said, no. And so since then, I know that we were just at the school last week, but I can, once we get off, I'll get your address, whatever. I'll send you some, because Walmart's full of Florida State stuff here. And my old 2 guys I work with back home always hit me up around Christmas. Hey, just send me some Florida State stuff, and I put it in a box and send it to them. Be like cups and little stuff you can put around the house like that. Nothing major, but if you're a fan, I'll be more than willing to do that for you.
Yes, sir.
Because I like Miami.
Had to throw that in there.
I'm so disappointed. And then I got to look into the comments, and almost as worse as Yolanda's a Gators fan. Like, never trust a Florida Gator wide receiver ever.
Wait. Jaquez Green is my guy.
Oh,
Jaquez
okay.
Green is my guy.
Oh, okay.
He that's my guy.
He may be a good dude, but never trust them dudes in the NFL.
And this right here is also my guy though.
Peter Ward.
Peter Ward.
Hey, so
Peter
disappointing.
Ward.
So disappointing.
Ahead of his time.
So
Right.
disappointing. He had that one good year in Cincinnati, then went to Seattle. So disappointing.
Hey, we talking about college career. His college career was dope.
I know, but yeah.
Mike, go with the DBs, Mike. I think it's on you. You and Chris, I think, are left on the DBs. I think. Did you go B?
Nah.
I meant to come to you. No, you go because I have been kind of
I'll keep it real quick. They were outstanding. You've got just I know that the Cincinnati offense hasn't been what it was last year, but you're still talking about great talents in Jamar Chase, even Tyler Boyd. Hayden Hurst gave him some work though. But that's all right though. That's okay. That's okay. He was a little pumped up for the revenge game. That's all right. But no, they played outstanding. Best game that they've had. Unfortunate about Marcus Williams. Hopefully he's back soon. But yeah, I mean they're starting to look like the unit we thought they would be preseason.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mike.
Man, game ball to MP. That dude. He was out there. He was balling from start to finish. MP ball, and I think I seen the snap count. I think he played every snap as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, man, his read. That dude is so smart, man. His read on that end around was. I mean, I think that was a huge play right there as well. That swung the game, the momentum of the game as well. So shout out to MP. I agree. Everybody else, they played well. It sucks that we lost Williams. But you know what? It's time for these cats to show. It's time for the young boy to step up.
Got to.
And then I don't want to leave out Chuck. I think Chuck played solid. He played solid yesterday.
Chuck been solid for the year for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't find myself saying, "What are you doing, Chuck?" Or
right.
And I remember saying it specifically a lot last year.
Yeah. For sure.
Chuck got a point to prove.
Chuck, yeah. I mean, and I think they kind of rewarded him. They reworked this deal. He made it. He making a little bit more cake for to keep him quiet as he got mad.
Publicly embarrassed him.
Yeah, after he got mad when they
gave some hush money.
Yeah. But yeah, man, they played well. Shout out to Pepe too. Now, and Brandon Stevens was not hurt.
Right.
So they put that young boy in there to see what he could do.
Now,
I do have a theory why though. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
I would.
I think they let Pepe run that slide because now they're gonna have those other three guys try to replace Marcus.
Yeah. I
Push Stevens back there. You got Kyle and you got Gino. So it's gonna be like a three. Whichever one of you three can win this spot, and you go for it. They can let Pepe play that nickel.
Yeah,
I do love his tackling.
I almost rather see Stevens at safety, to be honest. I instead of him being in the slot, I'd rather him back there to see what they're gonna. But they are gonna have to do some type of three-headed monster to try to replace Marcus because he was balling, man, and he held us down for the first couple of weeks as well. So it's a huge loss, but yeah, man, A+ for me on that group.
Yeah, I'd like to see them put Steven somewhere and just leave him and let him learn how to play a position.
Yeah,
right.
But unfortunately, with all the injuries we keep having, it's tough.
Yeah.
The healthy guy got to try to bounce around and fill spots.
But I think that's stunting his development, though.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't put him at running back last year.
And you know what? They should have.
Why not?
With them old cats we had.
Yeah.
Chris, go ahead with the DBs. If you haven't been yet, right?
No, not yet. I'm with everybody, man. They were the tone setters across the board. They had a point to prove after last year, and you could see it in Marlowe's play. We go from before the game where we're not even sure MP's going to play. And he comes out and he balls. He's the tone setter. That Philly special dumb thing that they try to do. He blew that up, man.
What was Tyler Boyd thinking? Like,
Tyler Boyd just stopped. Like if it was two-hand touch, he was like, "Ah, you
Right.
got me." And he was like, "Nah."
You asked what was Tyler Boyd thinking. So once we finish, I explain what Tyler Boyd thinking. The video just sitting there waiting for us to finish. So I'm gonna go ahead and let get out the bag. My first video is about Peters. It's sitting in the cut. Once we finish, I'll publish it. But I think the longest I spend is on that play talking about what's going on. And he had options, but they were covered in black. All of them. Every option he could have thought he had was covered in black. The best thing he could have did was threw that ball away.
But I think he didn't know if he was inside the tackle. He looked confused, like he didn't know where he was, and he didn't want to get a penalty. So he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take the hit.
Because nobody was open. So and I guess wasn't he a quarterback in college?
In high school.
In high school. Okay, that's why. But Juice Man played it perfectly. And nobody went for the real fakes.
Yeah, who was that took? Was that Gino that took Burrow?
No, I don't think it was Gino. I think it was Stevens, maybe. It was Stevens or Gino, because the crosser, Marlon and Pepe had the crosser. So nobody else was. I mean, they had doubled him, and then they had a tight end going in the other direction, and Marlon did a good job of not being picked off by that mesh. And so, like I said, they was all covered in black. But you'll see it. But my thing about the DBs is when I was watching this with Marcus Peters, they did a great job of disguising stuff. They did a great job of playing situational football. They like when it was third and long, the Jokers basically got to the sticks and didn't move. So you run a quick out at the sticks, we gonna jump. You running a comeback on 3rd and 8, we sitting right here not waiting on. And then like they would be in some looks and then be off, but Peters himself would be way off. And as Joe Burrow starts his snap count, next thing you know, he right in the face. Or he right in the face, and as Joe Burrow starts his count, he's back. They did a good job of mixing. So my shout out to Peters and Mcdonald, because I've been harsh on Mcdonald for whatever the game plan was, because they did the damn thing with that, holding them guys to 17 points and mixing them coverages up. Because even with the DBs we got with Peters and Marlo, if we play one-on-one with them, they still gonna beat us. If we line up play one-on-one with Chase and Boyd and even Hayden Hurst, they still gonna beat us. But you got to play it sometime. But they did a good job to me of mixing it up. So I'll give them a A. I get that group an A2. And which will lead us right into coaching. My 2 cents on McDonald, I think he did a good job. I think Roman is doing better. So I can't just harp on him and say he's horrible. He's doing a better job. And we'll go to Hendo next.
I think Roman's doing better. I think up until the point where he gets flustered and he starts going back to normal habits. Aside from that, I think he's scripting good plays. I think he's trying to get people involved for the talent that he has instead of trying to fit the talent into his packages. Mike Mcdonald, he's done a lot better job than he has in the past couple of weeks. I think that he may be coming into his own. It's just getting familiar with your personnel, getting people healthy, getting them around. So I give him a B plus, but I would like to know what Harbaugh was thinking, because on some of them calls, you wanted to know if he wanted to go for that field goal. And when they panned into his face, he was looking like, I want to go for it.
Right.
But y'all ain't going to kill me on TV.
according to some people that were there, like, and the whole stadium was talking about, kick it. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, hats off to them. Mike McDonald, I like what he did as far as, just keeping those 2 safeties high. Let's not, get beat by the big plays, because those are the momentum changers. We've seen that throughout the NFL, and you see it all throughout the NFL where people are going through those too high looks in order to minimize those big plays. And, it's opening up, the things in the run game, and then the short passing game as well. But I think they did well for the most part, tackling on those, before the sticks, like you said, Coach. And with Roman, I thought he called a pretty good game too. That 4th down play was beautiful. The one where Lamar missed Wallace. I thought that was a beautiful play because, like you said, Coach, he had I think he had Andrews underneath right at the first down marker, and then Tylen He had him deep, and then what you're expecting there is, all right, Greg Roman is going to do what Greg Roman does. He's going to run into the teeth of the defense because that's what he usually does. And he didn't do that. He added a little bit of a wrinkle, and it caught the Bengals off guard. And I really like what he did on that play, and I thought he called a good game too.
Hendo, I'm sorry, not Hendo. B.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any criticism for the coaches this week. I mean, it was a huge game for Baltimore, almost a must win game for them. They had to get off of that losing streak at home and kind of shake off their bad performances from the past few weeks. And I thought the coaching staff did a good job. The only thing, and I mentioned it earlier, is I want to see Greg Roman keep his playmakers involved and not just have it be okay, this is what I came up with, from Tuesday to Saturday, and then now I don't know how to keep doing it. But and specifically, obviously talking about Duvernay, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was making plays. You got to keep him involved all 4 quarters. But outside of that, I think they did a good job.
Jose?
Yeah, just add to what B said. I think this is the limitation of Greg Roman, though. Like, it's the adjustments part, right? Like he's drawing up some good schemes and everything, but once those scripts run out, it's kind of like, well, this is what I do. And I don't think that's something he can change necessarily, but that is something that we can overcome is if we execute well. The talent, unfortunately, I'm not sure what moves we can make to bring in more talent, but those are the things that if we have more talent, it's not as big of a deal. But no, overall, he's doing a pretty good job. I haven't had anything really bad to say about him so far this season. Everybody's going to have some criticisms here and there, but he hasn't done an awful job. Mike Mcdonald has done a much better job since that Dolphins game. My goodness. So
he's like I had to temper it too. He's a rookie too.
Yeah. To me, I don't think that's an excuse for coaches. You shouldn't be.
He's been an assistant for a while, Coach.
He has.
When you have better candidates,
it's different when you are the guy making the call. It's one thing to sit back and be the position guy.
Oh, I agree.
Now he was responsible for the whole thing.
No, I agree. I'm just saying when there's better candidates available, and you decide to give it to a friend of the family, I don't want to hear any excuses about, oh well, I'm learning on the job. This ain't okay. That's unacceptable to me. It's not on Mike Mcdonald. It's on
the system.
On the hire.
Yes, exactly. But no. Look, excellent play call. And like I said, man, like I just want to see what they do next week. I think they're starting to learn out of necessity because players are hurt and we're not full strength and not that talented. I think they understand that we have to play a lot like what Bill Belichick does. Take what they give us and take away what they do best. Right. That's what I'm seeing the last 2 weeks. Even though we didn't get that win against the Bills, Josh Allen did not have a good game. Stephon Diggs did not go off, and we were in position to win that game. And that's exactly what they did last night. Hey, we'll let you run the ball. You're not going to run it. You can, but you're not going to run it. You want Jamar Chase to go off, and we're not going to let that happen. And that's what threw them off the game. Next week, I want to see them take Saquon out the game and force Daniel Jones to throw the ball. Daniel Jones is looking awful. He's looking awful. Force him to try to make a play, and I think that will do well for our defense. So, hopefully we keep it going.
Mike?
Yeah, man. No real criticism. I will say that, Hards kind of looked like, that second 4th down, he kind of looked like, God, y'all going to put me in this position again? Like, come on, man. Like he and you can even see he looked at the ref like, man, go look at. He wanted him to check that spot, and that ref was like, nah.
This is your moment, John.
Yeah, he wanted some more time to think this through. But overall, man, they did well. I think Mike Mcdonald is starting to settle in. You could tell in the last few weeks. I think I seen a tweet from you, Coach, saying, wait, we gave up 23 points on those dudes,
right?
After seeing what they did to Pittsburgh this week. So, I mean, to give up 23 points to that offense, to give up 17 this week to this offense, I think they settling in, right? So you know, he seemed to be headed and trending in the right direction. And Roman, you know, one thing. Look, I want to give him props on when it was money time. He went back to the money, right? And that was, hey, put that ball in 8's hand. Look, let's whatever we got to do. Let him get him there. And it reminded me of last year where, you know, I actually was at the game when they played Kansas City prime time, and it came down to that last drive, and they actually went for it on the 4th and 2, I think, in that game, and they put the ball in A's hands because he knew, listen, if we're gonna win this game, that's the only way we're gonna do it. So they went back to money time. So I give him credit for that as well yesterday. So yeah, overall, man, I think they did well.
I think, somebody uses this term on here a lot. I don't remember who it is. We were good in situational footballs. Good at situational football. Two situations that stand out to me is when they were first and goal from like the 2, they didn't score. The series that involved the Philly special, and then when we were down 1, we did what was necessary, like you just finished talking about, Mike, to get in, you know, range. Those 2 situations to me won us the game. Won us the game. And the fact that we took points and just didn't leave points on the board, we were able to not have to score a touchdown on that drive, which is a lot less stressful than having to go down and get 6.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel on that. I think to B's point as well, where he said it was almost a must-win game. I think they made it a must-win game, right? Giving up the lead again, they could not have gone another week with giving up a lead in this game just for the psyche of the players. I think they needed to win. Once it got to that point, I think it was like, all right, look, we got to pull this off. But ultimately, they did it, man. And I think the players buckled down. I think the coaches kind of settled down. You know, I think John. I think John set back a little bit. It was like, all right, look, man, I do have the best kicker in the world,
right?
The best kicker ever. Like, let's go ahead and let's see what we can do with this. So,
I saw a stat that says the kick that Tucker made was so straight. If the goal line was like a half an inch wider than the actual football, it still would have been right down the middle. That's how right down the middle that kick was.
That's crazy,
man. That dude's special, man.
Ain't he? And the fact that, like, when he kicked that first one, like 50-some yards, he looked on the side. I was like,
right. Like,
what are we doing here?
It is funny watching him during the game in those plays because, like, when it's 4th, it's short or 4th, whatever, and it don't matter how far it is, you see him run right by the coach, or he start running like he about to run on the field.
No, he said he goes on the field.
Yeah, he want to be seen. He said it. He said, I make sure the coach can see me in those plays, in those times. So, yeah, man, look, like Lamar said, thank goodness he with us.
Exactly. We just got to use him. He has to be considered a weapon like everybody else. He got to be. So, I think that's about it. We got everybody. You know, we don't have to go as hard when we win.
Right.
So, we can wrap this thing up, and we can catch the end of the game. I don't know what quarter it's in, but we can catch the end this time. So let's do this. Let me get this off. Appreciate everybody that came through, that super chatted. Any new members that went through, I didn't see any. Anybody that did any kind of donations or contributions, I'll get that up on tomorrow's video. I'll put it in the video. You'll be featured. Just thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for my guests for coming through. And we'll do the outro and we'll get this loaded for the podcast for those that weren't able to be here live or want to listen to it on your commute to work or while you're at your desk tomorrow or while you're on the block, wherever you go, wherever you work at. I'll load this up and it'll be episode, I think 33 or 34 of the Sip to Tally podcast. And it's just us talking football, and you can share it and I'll get it out as soon as I can. I'll put it on Twitter and these guys will retweet it and we'll go from there. So make sure you tune in to all their stuff, which is coming up later on in the week. And I'm going to let you know when it's coming and what's coming. Chris, you go first.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Chris Just Joking. Also on the Deep Cover Pod. You can find us on YouTube and also on podcast with my co-host Kerry Stevenson and Michael Crawford.
Hendo?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @rgatekeepers. You can also find me on Facebook at Ravens Ungatekeepers. And every Sunday evening at 7 p.m., I do a game recap on Ravens Online Ungatekeeper on YouTube.
OTR Mike.
Just that, man. OTR Mike on Twitter, OTR_Mike on Instagram, and I think TikTok. Yeah, that's what them young guys be on. TikTok. It's OTR Mike _. Man, check that out. Follow me, man. One Mike. Hold up.
Open mic.
Mike.
Open
I
mic.
keep doing that. I must got to talk to Mike of the one Mike.
Yeah.
But open mic, man, is coming, man. We got one in the chamber, but we got a couple more. We got to get ready. And then my man Jose got the shirt on. That's Ring Kings Podcast. That's the best boxing podcast out there.
Thanks.
And it's for everybody. If you are subscribed, go ahead and do that because we got a little bit of everything for all of you guys.
I have a request. I would like to be on open mic.
For sure. Oh, come on, man. That was already everybody on this screen will be on there. Trust me.
Gotcha.
It's happening.
It's in the works. It's in the works.
Jose and B.
Yeah. All right. Look, we are the Lunch Break Hot Take. We do a live show every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by the overtime show for the patrons right after that. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show. And like Mikey mentioned, we do a boxing podcast, Ring Kings podcast. We do a video / audio podcast every Monday now. We put that out around lunchtime. So, check that out. And you can follow us at the same places at Ring Kings Pod, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Yeah, and if you are a audio podcast listener, Apple, Spotify, Good Pods, wherever you're at, leave us a 5-star review if you enjoy the show. It helps with the discoverability and everything with the audio podcast.
This show too. This Ravens Roundtable, Sip to Tally, all his stuff. Make sure you're leaving that 5-star. Leave a comment. All that stuff helps us out. So
every little bit helps. And I think I'm not sure how you guys load y'all, but I load mine through SoundCloud. And so if you on SoundCloud, you can see the Sip to Tally podcast there too. That's how my RSS feed runs through Apple. So if you're on SoundCloud, if you're on Apple Podcasts, and I think it may even still be on Anchor. I used to use Anchor, so I had to check and see.
What is that?
Anchor. So Anchor is you can do a podcast on your phone.
Yeah.
And then you can be in a room with somebody or whatever, however you do it, and then you upload it to Anchor, and then Anchor has a program that can go to all the different ones. It'll go to Apple, it'll go to wherever the podcast thing is. And I don't know if it's still running, but when I was deep into my podcast, that's what I was using that also. I was getting it by any means necessary. So last but not least, I'm gonna go out with this right here. I got a request to mention these again. Hive Life Shades, and I know gift season is coming up. It's coming up. All 5 of y'all got may have a significant other in your life, may have a brother, may have a cousin, may have a sister, may have a mom. The perfect complement to every outfit is a pair of shades. So Hive Life, I'll put that link in the comment section. I thank them guys for being a sponsor. Matter of fact, I was with them in Atlanta at the Braves game, and I met the other partner. So they good to us, they good to me, they good to my wife, and that definitely be good to y'all. So if you go to the website, put in Sip the Tally and this code box, you get 10% discount on. So make sure you do that. Christmas time coming, Black Friday coming, all that. Make sure you do that. Appreciate it. So on that note, we're gonna close out. Enjoy the week. Enjoy what's left of Victory Monday, because now it's on to Wink and the Blitz and Giants. And hopefully we'll have something for them.
Yes, sir.
Peace, y'all. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all chose to be here.